In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Today I want to speak to the part of your heart that feels tired, to the part of you that keeps asking why things feel blocked, why ease feels delayed, and why peace feels harder to hold. Today we are not talking about money, we are not talking about people, we are not talking about circumstances. Today we are talking about your heart, about the hidden reasons Allah allows heaviness to enter your life, about why some blessings remain in your hands but lose their sweetness, and about the quiet spiritual signals that appear before change is written. Stay with me, because what your heart is about to understand may gently change the way you see your entire life. Have you ever felt tired in your soul without being able to explain why? You wake up, you move through your responsibilities, you smile, you speak, you function. Yet inside, something feels heavy, not because of one clear problem, not because of one obvious crisis, but because your heart feels unsettled, uneasy, restless. This message is for that weight. This is not random. This is not weakness. This is not failure. This is a signal. Allah does not awaken hearts with cruelty. He awakens them with mercy. When your heart begins to drift slowly, quietly, without even noticing, Allah does not abandon you. He does not immediately remove your blessings. He does not immediately change your circumstances. He removes your comfort first. He places a quiet heaviness inside you. So you pause, so you question, so you feel that something is off. So your soul begins to whisper, something inside me needs attention. This discomfort is not punishment, it is protection. Because when distance becomes habit, habit becomes hardness, and hardness becomes loss. And Allah does not want to lose your heart. I have seen this again and again. Good people, pure hearts, kind souls. Not sinful, but distracted, not rebellious, but busy, not rejecting Allah, but postponing Him. And slowly, the sweetness fades. Prayer feels rushed, dua feels lighter, remembrance feels quieter, and the heart begins to feel heavy, not broken, just tired. This is when Allah gently knocks, not to scare you, but to bring you back, not to collapse your life, but to protect your soul before it collapses. Sometimes He does this by removing the joy from things that once satisfied you. Sometimes He allows anxiety to rise. Sometimes He allows emotional exhaustion to settle in, not because you are forgotten, but because you are loved. Your discomfort is a sign that your heart is still alive. Dead hearts do not ache. Numb hearts do not question. Hearts that are lost do not feel this quiet inner pull. This heaviness you feel is Allah calling your soul home, not loudly, not harshly, but gently. You do not need to fix your entire life. You do not need to change everything overnight. You do not need to become perfect. You only need to return your heart. Because when your heart realigns with Allah, everything else begins to reorganize itself around that alignment. Peace returns first. Clarity follows, then ease. Then doors begin to open quietly, without noise. But before any of that, there is this moment, this pause, this awareness, this inner awakening. This is where your healing begins. The heaviness you feel is not your end, it is your beginning. In the next part, I will show you how Allah warns hearts before they break, and why sometimes your blessings remain, but their sweetness disappears. Do not leave, because your heart is about to understand something that will gently change the way you see your life. And this is only the beginning. The Prophet said, "Indeed, in the body there is a piece of flesh. If it is sound, the whole body is sound, and if it is corrupted, the whole body is corrupted. Indeed, it is the heart." The Prophet said, Allah is more joyful with the repentance of His servant than a person who finds his lost camel in a desert. You may still have the same home, the same people, the same routine, the same income, the same life, and yet something feels missing. You do not feel broken, but you feel disconnected. Not because Allah took your blessings, but because He is trying to protect your heart. One of the quietest spiritual warnings is this: your blessings remain, but their sweetness disappears. You still pray, but faster. You still make dua, but distracted. You still remember Allah, but without presence. Not because you are careless, but because your heart has grown tired. And when the heart becomes tired, Allah does not punish it. He invites it back. He removes the emotional comfort from the things that once distracted you, so that your soul begins to search again, so that your heart remembers where real peace lives. This is mercy, because when the heart is left to drift too far, distance becomes habit. Habit becomes numbness, and numbness becomes spiritual loss. So Allah interrupts gently. He allows restlessness. He allows emotional fatigue. He allows quiet dissatisfaction, not to hurt you, but to return you. Sometimes you feel it in prayer, sometimes in your patience, sometimes in your sleep, sometimes in your relationships. Not everything feels heavy, just everything feels less alive. This is not depression. This is not weakness. This is not failure. This is awakening. Your soul is being called back into alignment because your heart was not created to be filled by routine. It was not created to be satisfied by comfort. It was created to be anchored in Allah. And when something else takes that place, even slowly, even quietly, your heart begins to feel the loss, not outwardly, but inwardly. That is when Allah begins His soft correction. He removes sweetness before He removes blessings. He awakens your heart before He reshapes your path. He invites you back before He allows you to fall too far. And here is something I want you to understand. If your heart still feels this discomfort, your heart is still alive. Dead hearts feel nothing. Disconnected hearts feel nothing. Awake hearts ache, and your ache is proof of mercy. In the next part, I will show you why Allah sometimes slows your life, why doors feel delayed, and what this quiet pause is preparing you for. Do not leave, because your next realization may be the key that unlocks your peace. The Prophet said, when a servant commits a sin, a black mark is placed on his heart. The Prophet said, richness is not having many possessions, but richness is the richness of the soul. The Prophet said, whoever Allah wants good for, He gives him understanding of the religion. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anh was a man feared by injustice, but he himself lived with a heart that trembled before Allah. One night, while Medina slept, Umar was awake. He walked through the silent streets, alone, not because he could not sleep, but because his heart was restless. He carried one question inside him. Are my people safe? Is anyone hurting while I remain unaware? Suddenly, he heard the cry of children. He stopped. He followed the sound to a small home. Inside was a mother trying to calm her hungry children. A pot was boiling, but there was nothing inside it but water. The children thought food was coming, but there was nothing. Umar's eyes filled with tears. He did not send anyone. He went to the public treasury himself. He carried a sack of flour on his own back. No guard, no servant. He returned to the home. He helped cook the food. He fed the children. And as he left, he said, if they had slept hungry tonight, Umar would have been questioned for them on the day of judgment. That night, Umar did not sleep, but his heart was finally at peace, because true peace is not only found in prayer, it is found in living the mercy Allah places in your heart. And when your heart reconnects with Allah, Allah makes you a means of peace for others, and peace returns to you. Sometimes life slows down, not because you are failing, not because you are forgotten, not because Allah is distant, but because Allah is protecting you. You feel it when your plans stop moving, when your efforts feel delayed, when answers do not come quickly, when progress feels slower than it should be, and the heart begins to ask, why? Not in anger, but in confusion. This pause is not a denial. It is preparation. Allah does not rush what must mature. He does not open doors that your heart is not yet ready to walk through. He does not give you what could harm your soul, even if your hands are reaching for it, because your heart matters more than your outcome. Sometimes the delay is cleansing your intentions. Sometimes it is strengthening your patience. Sometimes it is realigning your reliance. And sometimes it is saving you from a future version of pain you cannot yet see. You think, I am being held back. But in reality, you are being held from the wrong door, held from the wrong attachment, held from the wrong timing. Allah delays what would damage your soul. He accelerates what will heal it. And here is the truth that changes how you experience waiting. Waiting is not emptiness. Waiting is construction. Your patience is being built. Your sincerity is being refined. Your heart is being softened. Your reliance is being purified. You are not standing still, you are being prepared. Every moment you hold your faith, every time you choose trust over panic, every time you return your heart to Allah instead of forcing outcomes, your future is being shaped quietly. Even when you see nothing happening, this pause is not punishment, it is protection. And in the next part, I will show you what to do during this waiting, how to speak to Allah in these quiet moments, and how your nights can begin rewriting your days. Stay with me because your healing is not finished yet. She was a widow, alone, with small children sleeping beside her. The house was quiet, but her heart was heavy. There was no food left in her home, no bread, no dates, only water. That night, her children cried themselves to sleep. She did not cry loudly, she did not complain to people. She stood quietly in prayer, and she whispered, Ya Allah, you see my weakness. You know my hunger, you know my fear, and you know I have no one but you. She prayed 2 quiet rak'ahs. Then she sat on her prayer mat and cried, not from despair, but from trust. Then she slept. Before dawn, there was a knock at her door. She opened it. Her neighbor stood there with bags of food. She said, something told me not to sleep until I brought this to you. The woman fell into sujud, not because food arrived, but because Allah answered her heart. And that night she learned what real peace is. Peace is not having enough. Peace is knowing who holds your life. And when your heart truly returns to Allah, Allah sends your relief in ways you never imagined. Your nights are not random, they are not empty, they are not wasted. Your nights are where your heart speaks the clearest. When the world becomes quiet, your distractions soften, your body rests, your soul becomes honest. This is when your heart feels its true weight. This is when your fears surface. This is when your longing becomes visible, and this is when Allah listens most closely, not because He was not listening before, but because you are finally present. Your heart does not need long speeches, it needs honesty. Ya Allah, I am tired. Ya Allah, I am afraid. Ya Allah, I need you. These are not weak words, they are keys. The night is where hearts realign. It is where dependence returns to its true place. It is where peace begins to grow again. Sometimes Allah delays your relief, so you learn to speak to Him first, not to your fear, not to your worry, not to your panic. Because the heart that learns where to turn never collapses again. Your nights are preparing your days. Your tears are washing your intentions. Your silence is rebuilding your strength. And something unseen begins to move. Doors are being repositioned. Paths are being softened. Hearts are being prepared, even when you see nothing changing. In the next part, I will show you the quiet actions that unlock spiritual ease, restore emotional clarity, and invite blessing back into your life. Do not stop here, because the peace you are searching for is closer than you think. When the Prophet would feel burdened, when life felt heavy, when his heart needed renewal, he would return to 3 quiet actions. Not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently. He would stand in prayer at night, prolong his sujud, and speak to Allah with honesty, and he would say, "O Allah, the comfort of my eyes is in prayer." He did not run from pressure, he ran to Allah. When the world became heavy, he lightened his heart through sujud. When uncertainty increased, he increased his trust. And when he needed peace, he chose prayer before answers. This is the sunnah of emotional healing. This is the sunnah of strength. And this is why the Prophet was never spiritually shaken, even when life was physically heavy. Because hearts that kneel to Allah never collapse before the world. Peace does not arrive loudly, it does not rush in, it does not announce itself, it enters quietly, the same way heaviness did. First your breathing softens, then your thoughts slow, then your heart feels lighter without explanation. This is not coincidence, this is response. When you return your heart to Allah, Allah returns peace to your heart. Not always by changing your situation, but by changing your inner world first. You begin to feel less threatened by uncertainty, less controlled by fear, less shaken by delay. You still face life, but life no longer owns your heart. This is where your strength is reborn, not as control, not as pressure, but as trust. And when trust settles in your heart, your circumstances begin to follow. Doors open naturally, people show up unexpectedly. Relief begins to move quietly toward you. But the greatest change is internal. You feel safe again. You feel held, you feel guided, you feel aligned. Your heart no longer chases peace, it carries it. And this peace becomes your protection. It guards your reactions, it softens your responses, it stabilizes your faith. In the final part, I will share with you the simple spiritual anchors that keep your heart steady even when life becomes unpredictable. Do not leave, because your heart is about to feel whole again. Your heart was never meant to carry everything alone. It was never created to hold fear, pressure, uncertainty, and pain without support. It was created to rest in Allah. And when your heart returns to that place, everything begins to feel lighter. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because your soul becomes anchored. You still face responsibilities, you still make decisions, you still walk through challenges, but your heart is no longer shaking while doing so. It feels steady, it feels guided, it feels safe. This is the peace you were missing. Not the peace of perfect circumstances, but the peace of divine connection. And once your heart experiences this peace, it no longer fears the future because it knows who holds it. Your life begins to feel purposeful again. Your steps feel guided. Your choices feel clearer. Your soul feels protected. This is what it means to return. Not to change your life, but to realign your heart. And from that realignment, ease flows, strength grows, clarity returns. Your heaviness was not your punishment, it was your invitation. Your discomfort was not your weakness, it was your awakening. And your return was not delayed, it was perfectly timed. If your heart is listening right now, this is your moment. Return your heart to Allah and let everything else fall back into place. Your peace is closer than you think. Before I share these du'as with you, I want you to listen with your heart, not just your ears. I am about to give you simple words, but they carry deep healing and they carry real change. Please make them part of your life. Do not just hear them, practice them. Because the heart that acts on dua is the heart Allah responds to. Dua for inner relief. Allahumma innun ashku ilayka da'fa quwwata'a wa qillata halata'a wa hawanun ala an-nas. O Allah, I come to you with my weakness, my helplessness, and the heaviness in my heart. Dua for calm and peace. Allahumma shrah la sadra wa yassir la amra wa anzil as-sakana far'a qalbi. O Allah, expand my chest, ease my affairs, and place tranquility in my heart. Dua for protection and guidance. Allahumma la takilna ila nafsa tarfata ayn. O Allah, do not leave me to myself even for a blink of an eye. Dua for returning the heart. Allahumma rud qalba ilayk, wa la taj'alnu mimman ba'uda wa nasa. O Allah, return my heart to you, and do not let me be among those who drift and forget. Dua for ease and relief. Allahumma ij'al min kulli daq farajan wa min kulli hammin makhraja. O Allah, make a way out for me from every hardship and relief from every burden. Before I begin, listen with your heart. I am about to make dua for you, not in general, not for everyone, for you. The heart that is tired, the soul that is searching, the person who is still holding on to Allah. Now, let us raise our hearts together. O Allah, you see every heart listening right now. You know the weight they carry in silence. You know the tears they hide. You know the fears they cannot explain. O Allah, place light where there is heaviness. Place peace where there is restlessness. Place certainty where there is fear. Heal what no one else can heal. Open doors they thought were permanently closed. Answer the du'as they whisper at night when no one hears them. Write ease into their coming days. Write protection into their nights. Write blessing into their homes, their work, and their children. If their hearts are returning to you in this moment, receive them with your mercy, hold them gently, and never let them walk this path alone. Amen.